There it was released and allowed to glide in free flight to the desert floor, to land at a speed of 80 miles per hour. This first test vehicle logged over 400 successful flights. But all that is the past for John Mankey. As with fellow test pilot Bill Dana, who will control this flight, he walks toward his future, less than 90 minutes from now, poised beneath the protective wing of the B-52. Mankey is a professional, long familiar with flight test procedure. That procedure is to increase the performance step by step until the craft has been pushed to its limits in terms of altitude and speed. Lifting bodies have flown before, of course, and many times. The first heavyweight configuration was called the M2-F2. On a hot July day in 1966, another NASA test pilot, Milt Thompson, made the first glide flight. Even though developed from the earlier configuration, this was no plywood lightweight, but a fully equipped test vehicle weighing almost 3 tons and designed to touch down at over 200 miles per hour. The 8-mile drop took less than 4 minutes. One successful flight proved only that it could be done. Refinement, improvement, the evolution of an idea into a working system would have to come from many such flights. From hypersonic wind tunnel evaluation, and from constructing and testing a number of different designs. This lifting body, the HL-10, with 3 vertical stabilizers instead of 2, was developed at Langley Research Center. Less than 6 months after the initial M2-F2 flight, the HL-10 took its first plunge to the desert, with NASA's Bruce Peterson at the controls. Then, shortly after launch, trouble. Problems with the controls. Next, a strange high-speed buffeting the wind tunnel tests had failed to disclose. Peterson could have ejected, but he still had control of his craft and chose to ride it out as the ground reached up for him at more than 200 miles per hour. What pilots would call a piece of cake. It always does after someone has done it and the moment has been frozen on film. Can John Mankey, now less than an hour from takeoff, put from his mind another moment? A long moment that began a year before when Bruce Peterson again dropped away from the mothership in the M2-F2. A moment that continued as violent oscillations suddenly struck the craft near the ground. The pilot managed to recover, but too much precious time and altitude had been lost. The moment ended. Miraculously, the man survived. So did the airframe, to be rebuilt for future flights. But for John Mankey, This is now. Sealed in his own tiny world, he has too much ahead of him to reflect on the past. He knows the control problems have long been corrected, and in 45 minutes, and what will be only its fourth rocket-powered flight, he will push the HL-10 through the sound barrier of Mach 1, up to 724 miles per hour. The lifting body has proved over and over that it can maneuver and land, but wind tunnel tests have never shown exactly what will happen as it exceeds the speed of sound. Only when its rocket engines kick it through that critical barrier will they and John Mankey be sure. The test will be labeled a success, though of course he can't know that yet. To the scientists whose speculation made it conceivable, to the engineers and technicians who made it possible, to John Mankey, whose life depends on all of them and his own skill besides, this is the successful completion of another milestone. But in a broader sense, it is just a test. Another step in the evolution of an idea. Future flights will go higher, up to the fringe of the atmosphere, and return at speeds well above the speed of sound. In the now that will be with us tomorrow, a lifting body may return men and women from space, much as commercial jets land today. Or from this work, some new, as yet unthought of configuration may emerge. For the moment always with us called now always changes.